Welcome to the Choice, Change and Action podcast, where you get to choose, change and take action to create a different today and a different future. These are my stories of choice, change and action, along with the phenomenal guests I have on here. From a really young age, I've always desired to create a change in the world. The planet has been a constant inspiration to me, and Access Consciousness has shown me the tools to know that anything is possible. And I keep choosing. What are you going to choose? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Choice, Change and Action podcast. You are with me, your host, Simone Milasas. And today I have two wonderful, amazing people, friends of mine, and who I get to work with and play with around the world. So welcome, Claudia, Cano, and Shon von Orden.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
I think both of you guys have been on my podcast previously too. And I'm not quite sure where this is going to go, this podcast today, but it's been inspired by the earth and it's been inspired by the land. And I know that we're going to be referring to Lugar, the property that we are creating in Costa Rica. And I wanted to start this off by reading just a really short, it's a forest spirit story is what they call it. Now, here's what I think is very funny is my gardener, who is one of the most amazing, beautiful men. Like he always says to me, I think I became a gardener so I could meet you, Simone. The first time that he came and did my garden, he sent me this text and he said, this might sound really weird. He goes, but I just so loved working in your garden. It was like there was fairies in there. And I was like, yep, that's true. And I had been asking for someone to show up that wasn't just going to mow my lawn. I was like, I wanted someone in my garden who could just be there and be really present with the earth and everything. And we have created such a great, friendship, communion ever since then. And I'm incredibly grateful for him. And the other day he sent me this and he said, hey, I just read this and I thought of you and I wanted to share it with you. And then I shared it with a bunch of other people. And then Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, took it and sent it to the entire Access database with a link, which we will have in the notes below, the subscription below. If you subscribe to the podcast, and we'll have it in there, and it's a link to purchase a raffle ticket, which is one of the things that I wanted to talk about, and contribution and generosity of spirit, etc. And I'll just give you the link now anyway. It's www.lugar.com/raffle. Okay. So I love the way this whole story came about and how it just travels around the world, like these, words of wisdom. So this is the forest spirit story. According to an old Native American legend, one day there was a big fire in the forest. All of the animals fled in terror in all directions because it was a very violent fire. Suddenly, the jaguar saw a hummingbird pass over his head, but in the opposite direction. The hummingbird flew towards the fire. Whatever happened, he wouldn't stop. Moments later, the jaguar saw him pass again, this time in the same direction as the jaguar was walking. He could observe this coming and going until he decided to ask the bird about it, because it seemed very bizarre behavior. What are you doing, hummingbird? He asked. I'm going to the lake, he answered. I drink water with my beak. It shivers. I drink water with my beak and throw it on the fire to distinguish it. The jaguar laughed. Are you crazy? Do you really think that you can put out that big fire on your own with that very small beak? No, said the hummingbird. I know I can't, but the forest is my home. It feeds me, it shelters me and my family. I am very grateful for that. And I help the forest grow by pollinating its flowers. I am a part of her and the forest is a part of me. I know I can't put out the fire, but I must do my part. At that moment, the forest spirits who listened to the hummingbird were moved by the bird and its devotion to the forest. Miraculously, they sent a torrential downpour, which put an end to the great fire. The Native American grandmothers would occasionally tell this story to their grandchildren, then conclude with, do you want to attract miracles into your life? Do your part. You have no responsibility to save the world or find the solutions to all problems, but to attend to your particular personal corner of the universe. As each person does that, the world saves itself.
Love it.
I think that is just so friggin' beautiful. So I wanted to just read that and then talk to you guys, I think in a different aspect of Lugar, the property in Costa Rica, which, as I said, will have all the details in the subscription note. Please follow us on Instagram, etc. But Claudia, can I start with you? Because you were the person who actually, you literally found this piece of land, or I'm going to say the land found
Yes.
you. Actually, let's flip it. So, what was that like for you when you first came across this land?
Wow, it was amazing. Before I entered the property, I thought I've seen it before because I saw the one next door. I'm like, I think I've been here. And then when we turn right before the other one, I'm like, oh, this is pretty. Oh, it's really cute. But as soon as I get out of the car, I just felt like the land hugged me. I was like, wow, I'm home. It,
That's a beautiful
yeah,
description. Yeah.
yeah, that was it.
And because what I noticed, I mean, I went there really early on in the piece as well when you were showing Gary and Dane, and I remember going there to this property, and it's very long property, like it's more long, and it backs onto a national park, and it was like, my God, I feel like I'm in a National Geographic show. Like it was like, cue the exotic butterflies, like cue the iguana, cue the toucan, cue this, and they were all just coming out, and it was like everywhere. And I remember Gary Douglas saying about this was so beautiful, where we were standing on the land. And then you looked at him and you said, this is the ugly part. Let's go, let's go over the bridge. And when you went over the bridge, and it was a whole new discovery of the land. So right
Yes.
now, to anyone listening, I'd like you to just put your attention on the earth, anywhere in the earth, because you have, and if as we're talking about this property in Costa Rica, I don't care if you've been to Costa Rica or not, or you've been to El Lugar or not, you have the ability as an infinite being to access the earth in a way that is so different, and to appreciate her, be grateful, and contribute, as this forest story says. So everywhere that you are not acknowledging the communion with the earth that you do have, and asking, what can I be that would allow this to expand, where you destroy and uncreate it? Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys, provids, and beyonds. And that's the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement, which you can find out more at theclearingstatement.com if you choose. Because I see people just doing this crazy fucking shit around the world where they try and do trauma and drama and fight with each other and have this like singularity purpose. And for me, what we can be with each other and for the earth is something so much greater. And I would like to explore that and have that as an adventure of living here on planet Earth. And for me, El Lugar is such a major part of that. And I went there right at the beginning, and over and over and over and over again, riding horses across there. Like when there was nothing there except like one house and this old shed, and we'd ride horses, and we didn't own the property. Like every time I say that, I can hear the property going,
Yeah,
no, we own you.
exactly.
We own you. Yeah. And
What do you mean Claudia
Yeah,
found us?
I found her.
exactly. Yeah. And we didn't have the money to begin with. And I remember at one point Gary said, we have to tell them we don't have the money for this. And what did the guy say that owned the property previous to us?
Well, he said it's okay. The land is waiting for you. And actually, when I met him, he wasn't sure he really wanted to sell the land because he loved that land so much. And then he was like, yeah, it's yours. So I'll wait whatever time is required because the land is waiting for you.
I love that. It's being so aware of what the earth and the land is asking for. So, Shon, you came along, like fast forward quite a few years. And I think the first time you saw El Lugar was not that long ago, right? Like less than 6 months ago or 10 months ago?
About 5 months ago was the first time I'd gone there.
Okay, so you went there and we'd already started building. We've already started like the garden, all of that. What was your first impression?
Well, I'd heard about it. So just being in class to hear Gary talk about it, I'm like, man, I would just love to go. And just how lucky do I get the first time I go, it's with Gary on a private jet down there. And just like the whole experience was amazing. And we're driving in there and, what comes to my mind as I go there is just the Jurassic Park theme song. Like, as you're like going in, it's like, are we going to see friggin' pterodactyls in here? Like, it's
Maybe.
you're kind of like in the middle. Is there a brontosaurus waiting? because you're in the middle of the rainforest, and you hear, like, what's really cool when you're there is just the howler monkeys that you hear in the distance, the toucans that you
Yeah.
see, like, because we were the way that we approached it when we built the land, and we didn't destroy it to, and have to that need of control to make it the way we wanted it. We worked with it. Like, you still have all of the critters, and they didn't have to leave. We didn't tear down everything and put a big piece of concrete on it. So everything is still there, and you really get a sense, like, as you're staying there, that you are in a rainforest and it is alive. Like, and what's crazy is the darker it gets, the more alive it becomes. So it's a really nurturing place to be. I love going and really enjoy my time there. So I'm grateful that I've had a chance
Could
to.
I add something?
I want to put you on this.
Yeah.
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 Go
So
ahead,
the
Claudia.
first time I went there, there were not that many trees in the quote unquote ugly part. And now that we have so many trees in that part, there's way more animals than there used to be. The more we're there and the more we build, the more animals get there. I've never seen that. It was like absolutely incredible. It's like a miracle. There's a big tapir. It's like a kind of like a big pig kind of fish. It's like, just to put it in some perspective. And it moved there while we started construction. And now you can just see it. It is like a dog. It's just like wandering around, and it sees you and just look at you. And you can drive by, walk by, be in a motorcycle by it, and it will just keep walking or just look at you and keep walking. It never runs away like all the birds. They just stay there and look at you while you're walking. It's really amazing.
I so love that. And to me, that's like being in total communion with the earth. And that's the way that's the way it should be. Like, recently I went to Delhi in India, and it was great, but it's also the sixth most polluted, city in the world. And the one thing I noticed when I got home was how loud Australia is. Like, I was like, God, we're so loud. Like, I have possums, geckos, birds, frogs, everything, all in my backyard. And in Delhi, it's like, you don't hear a bird. You don't hear that. And so I agree. When you go to Lugar too, it's like you hear how loud nature is, how loud the earth is. Shon, I wanted to put you on the spot a little bit here because I'm interested to know this. I haven't asked you this question.
Oh
And
boy.
you went to, like, as you say, you went to Lugar with Gary Douglas, private jet, blah, 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 and you were there to do work, right? You were there to meet everyone, see how it's going, etc. So, when you put your work hat on and you're like, okay, I'm going here to do this, and you'd only recently just started working with Access Consciousness too. Did that show up the way you thought it was going to show up?
Did what show up?
Like the work whole thing, like, or did Lugar? What did Lugar show you that you weren't expecting?
Oh, it's so
And I
much.
haven't asked you this question. I'm just
No, I just went down there to see it. Like, I was helping out with some of the, we're raising money for Lugar all the time, and we had the loan bonds, and I am, there to talk about it, and I'd never been. So Gary was like, well, come with me. We're going to go down there. And it was really interesting. The moment I got down, I'm like, wow, I get the essence of this now. Like, you do have to go and experience it in order to talk about it in a way that people can relate to. And all I had at that point was PowerPoint slides, and pictures, like, and I'm trying to convey this energy of Lugar, and it was it was not easy to do. And the purpose of me going there was not to work with Lugar, was just to experience it. And I was there, and just kind of my background, like, I've done a lot of negotiating and project management, and I'd only been with Access like a month probably at that time. And I go
so
down,
you were
and
under the fire hose, is what I call
yeah,
it. Come work with Access.
literally.
Like, it's a fire hose that doesn't slow down. You just learn to like deal with it and go, okay then.
But Access is kind of like, they just push you into the deep end, and you better be able to swim, because it's just it's just like that. And if you can't, oh well, you'll figure it out. So so I did not go down there to work with Lugar at all. And we had a negotiation going on with one of our contractors down there, and I went in with Chloe and Claudia and sat down and we worked out, the girls had things that they didn't want to do, so we put that as part of the negotiation. It went great. We got done, and when we landed back in Texas, Gary's like, or as we're leaving, I'm sorry, Gary's like, I have a feeling you're going to be here quite a bit more. And I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, you're going to be a lot bigger part of this. He's like, I don't know how it's going to be. And that was kind of my introduction. From there, I was just like, okay, what's required? And just really went into question about how I could contribute, and just started working with Claudia and the whole team, and it just kind of unraveled from there.
What do you like to do on El Lugar besides work? What have you seen of the earth there?
Nothing. I'd like to do nothing while I'm there. I like to sit on the back porch and just listen to nature, walk around, check out the buildings that we have going on. Like it's such a place of relaxation. I would say that's probably the best word. Like a nurturing relaxation. So I open all my doors, all my windows, and I hate humidity and I hate heat, but for whatever reason while I'm there, like I like everything open and the AC off. And I like to just really enjoy it and immerse myself in it is what I like to do best while I'm there.
Yeah, I went there, it was a while ago now, and I stayed there for 11 days with Gary. We went, Claudia, you came with me as well. Like, I mean, you're always there now, pretty much. But we went over there, and Gary was, doing business. I was helping out with a few different things. But 11 days for me to be somewhere like in this one spot, I would usually be like, time to go. But every day it was just amazing. I would run in the heat because I love heat. And I would go running in the heat. I'd go horse riding. I would just go and be with the horses, and just walking around this property was so incredible. And then, as you mentioned, it's like, sitting on the porch, and Costa Rica has that beautiful torrential weather that you get. So sometimes in the late afternoon, you get this storm that's just massive and it's so loud and you can hear it, and you're sitting on the porch and it's raining, and it's just like, it's such a unique experience to be there and to be really present with yourself and your body there, and with the land. And I get that everyone who goes there so far, I've noticed, has something different that shows up for them, like some level of awareness that shows up for them that they weren't quite willing to have before, is how I would put it.
I will say one of my favorite things to do, and if you do end up going, if Liam is there, take a tour of El Lugar and get to know it. Like, one of my favorite things about it is our nursery. And it's not like we started planning, how long ago, Claudia, did we start planting palm trees and just all of the different plants that
at least 7 years, maybe, or 6, way before we bought the land.
We have 7 before we bought the land, and this thing is as big as a football field. All these different kinds of plants that they're growing. We have a botanist there that just takes care of all of it and is growing, and then we move these plants to different areas within the resort. But you're talking full-grown palm trees, just big banana leaf plants, like all kinds of different shrubs and trees that were growing there. I thought that was really cool, and I thought it was just a way of looking, Gary's such a futurist. Like, let's start planning these now before we even buy the property. He's already looking at that, him and Dane, into the future and growing things that we're going to use 7 years later as the resort's being built. And now you go there, it looks like the resort's been there for forever, just the way that it's been built.
And there's
even breeding horses.
And there's another thing that was like very impressive to me. I would never even consider that possibility. The more we build, the more beautiful the land is.
I noticed that too. Yes. Because I'm a big believer. Like, I don't like cities generally, I think Prague in Czech Republic, the first time I ever went there, I went, oh, I can actually like a city because it was so friggin' beautiful. Like, I've always sought more, farms or, like outback or something like that rather than a city. And I noticed that too. It's like, as we build, it's like the land is like,
it's more alive.
It becomes more
alive.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about something as well. I mean, the reason why we're doing this, no hidden agendas here too, is I wanted to invite everyone listening here to go and invest in yourself and invest in the property and buy a raffle ticket at least. They're $100 and like I said, it's www.el/lugar .com/raffle, and it will be in the notes as well that you can find it. And please follow Lugar on Instagram because there's some really fun, cool pics and like it's so beautiful. I mean, if you wake up in the morning and just look at the Lugar Instagram, I find that so nurturing as well. So
And Facebook, we have
Mm-hmm.
a really good Facebook page too that you can, and it's all up to date. All the buildings, like Claudia, we're really
Yeah.
active on there. So if you want to see the
I
latest and
might.
greatest, it's a great place.
I'll get back on Facebook then. I'm so bad with Facebook. I tend to go or Instagram. So I'll try and do that. And then people are trying to get me on TikTok, and I'm like, God damn it! How many platforms do you need to
Yeah.
have? So, but here's because okay. So if you're listening to this, I just want you to ask the question: would contributing and helping with Lugar increase your financial wealth? Would it increase your life? And about 20 years ago, Gary said to me, when you have a generosity of spirit, the universe gives you at least 10 times more. And I was saying to him this morning, what I've noticed is that is so true, but he also lied. I always said it's probably about 20 times more. And today he said, you know what, it's probably about 100 times more. And one of the things that he was describing to me today, and I'm going to be honest with you, I only just friggin' got this. Like, I love it when you get these awarenesses and you think everyone else has had this awareness. And I was like, oh, okay, baby access again. You're just getting this brand new tool. And he was talking about the investment of buying $100 raffle ticket. And I mean, part of the thing is you can, there's prizes you can win, right? But he was like, okay, so if you buy this $100 raffle ticket, would that increase your worth? Like, would that increase your net worth by, like, say, 300,000? And I was looking at this as this like win lose. And I said, Gary, I think most people don't actually buy a raffle ticket in order to win. They're buying it in order to contribute. And he was like, yeah, you're right. It's true. So, but here's what I would like people to look at is if it's not in a win and a lose category and it's in a contribution category, what if every single time you bought a $100 raffle ticket and you contributed to Lugar, it increased your wealth? Because the universe does give to you as you gift. So just like sit with that, play with that, and see if that expands your world. And if it does, it's like, please go ahead and buy a raffle ticket. It's going to be drawn in August, I think, towards the end of August. And we are literally asking for contribution and asking for help. My summary of it is, my cliff notes is attempting to outcreate the banks and this reality. Because does this reality move a little bit too slow for you? And it's like, we would like to have this up and built and finished, this year, 2023, so that we can start to host some events there. And you can all go there and ride horses. These amazing breed of horses, Costa Senseis, which again, Gary had the foresight to start breeding and bringing a hell of a lot more of the horses into the property as well. So I'd love to invite you guys to buy a raffle ticket. There's also a lot more that you can do and be and contribute to Lugar. And Shon, I'll ask you in a minute to ask where that they can go to for that. But I'm just going to tell this one story that increased my wealth. Is we're riding horses around the property, and there's a few of us, and David Kubis is there, who we work with, and he's pointing out all the cusses, like the houses, and this one's owned by this person, this one's owned by this person, and he's pointing it out. And Ryan T, who is an access consciousness facilitator, he goes, this is Ryan T's house, and we're riding along, on the horse, and he goes, oh, and this is Ryan T's house, and we're riding along, and then he says it a third time, and I was like, thinking David's got confused. And I went, no, David, you mentioned that those other places are Ryan T's. And he looks at me and he goes, yeah, he has three. He has three investments. And I'm literally riding my horse going, you can do that? And I was like, you can have three investments? So that afternoon, David and I did another 2 investments and we shared it together. So I was like, wow, how often do you cap what you can choose based on what you've decided is the acceptable or right investment? And I was like, no, this is a no-brainer. I'm in. I've got bonds, raffle tickets, casas, all of it. It's like, let's go. So what if you could use it to actually increase your wealth as well by the choices that you make? And ask yourself, what choice are you making today and what future is it creating? So everything that brought up, we destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine, shorts, boys, perverts, and beyond. So, Shon, where else can people find out more information even if they wanted to invest in a casa? If they want to outcreate myself and Ryan T, where do they go?
Good luck. Let's go. So if you want to be more involved, you can purchase it at the Lugar raffle site, which we'll put in the description. And I think maybe the best way to get more information, Simone, would be to have them email me. So could we put my Lugar email address in there?
Hey, also, I know that you've done quite a few, showings of what that looks like. So someone who is, interested financially, maybe we could, if you send us a message, and to Shon, we could send you one of the recordings. Like, I love the one that you did at the last Joy Business Facilitator training. I know you've done many more since then, so you probably have another favorite. But it really showed you. It was very like, hey, this is your investment and this is your return. It's like, to me, it's a no-brainer. And for me, I'm a big part of, if you invest in something, you have to be willing to lose it, because that's how I roll. And for me, it's like, I've worked with Access for over 20 years, and I know that we're going to be hosting events there, and a lot of events. And I think we're already scratching. Like, I can't wait to have these events there. So it's going to work. So at the best of I'm just going to also, there's 2 things that I'm going to put in the show notes, and I'm just trying to find the details here, because we've got 2 events happening over Earth Day, which is the 21st of April. And one is this Dane here, and the Symphony Wave is going to start, and you can join that. And I can't remember the price of it. I think it's $100 as well, or maybe just a bit over $100. And all of those proceeds go to Lugar as well. And then also the Relationship Done Different facilitators are going to be starting something as well. And I'll be kicking that off. It goes for about 3-4 hours. It's on a Zoom. And I'll be kicking that off with Relationship Done Different with the Earth. And then all the RDD facilitators will be coming in and just giving you some tools on relationship with everything. Earth, body, the people you're shagging. It's like family, whoever, friends, colleagues, all of it.
Shagging family.
You.
But, well, no, hang on. You took that out of context, Shon. Your story's your story. Okay?
I'm sure. Okay.
But those links will also be in the notes below. I think that's going to be SimoneMilasas.com/RDD Earth. So you can find out more about. So there's so much that you can contribute to and be a part of. That's the piece I really would like people to get, is how much you can, every time you contribute here too, you are being a part of it. And please get your butt there. Like, it's
it's a gift
an
to be
amazing
there.
place.
It's totally a gift.
It is.
And as an investor, you can go today if you would like. So we have people there. We have staff there. Like, it's open to investors who want to go at any time. So.
Oh my God! And swimming in the pool there, and ordering a cocktail at the bar, and
everything. It's
nature walks.
Yummy.
Yeah.
Swim with the caimans in the river. It's all kinds.
And as I said before, you do you, Shon, and I'll do me. Okay. So everybody has a choice. Okay. Hey, Claudia, I wanted to just finish off, though. I wanted to touch on something that I think you can talk about, and that is the interaction and the engagement, not just with the land, but with the people there. And what's some of the how would you describe that, and what is showing up for you and with the people that we have working in Lugar, etc.?
Well, it's been quite an experience, to say the least. Yeah,
Mama Claudia.
But after all these years, it seems like forever, and interacting with all the staff there. I know it's going to sound like a cliche, but it's like family. We're like a big family. It's like in December, we organized this Christmas party, and I couldn't be there. But when I zoom in, because I zoom in to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, it was such a joyful, amazing energy. We were all cheering, and like when you're having a dinner with family and just celebrating that you are with each other and could enjoy each other every day, and it's the family you choose basically, and we all have each other's backs. It's really impressive, because when we started having we went to a rough patch one time, and I had to talk to them and say, hey guys, I don't have the money to keep moving fast. They were like, don't worry, if you don't have money to pay us, it's okay. Whenever you have the money to pay us, you can pay us. We're fine. We want to keep working with you. and we'll do our best to keep this moving and to make it a reality for everyone to come and be at a lugar. And everyone loves it. Like all the staff, when they go through rough patches in their life, it's like the best way to come and relax is at work. It's like it's really impressive how they just are like, okay, I having a rough patch in my life with my family or whatever, and just coming to a lugar makes me happy. And it's their job, but it's like, I love being here, and they don't want to leave, and it's, I just love them all. They're such a contribution. I'm so grateful for all of
That
them.
is the meme. Coming to Lugar makes me happy. It's like, that's perfect.
I wouldn't forget to mention too that we work with all the locals there. So these people are from Sarapiquí, and a lot of them never been outside of Sarapiquí, and there's not a whole lot going on there in terms of industry. So to be a part of this project and to hire people there, Garrett, it's very traditional in Costa Rica as these big projects happen with resorts. They bring in people from San Jose, like they use the locals, and then as soon as the resort opens, they replace them with people outside of the local community that they built the resort at. And I think Gary was really adamant about that not happening. Like, he wants to work with the locals, and the people there and the people Claudia are talking about are the locals. So it's been a really important project for the community.
And there's people that's been working with us since we thought about getting the property. Is like the guys doing the plants and the gardens, and they've been working with us for 7 years or 8 years, and they're like all locals. And we have a lot of single moms. We've been hiring a lot of guys that no one else will hire because of their age. I was telling a story yesterday because I had a live with David Cubes, and I told them that I hired this guy, and he's 60 years old. No one else wanted to hire him because he was old, and he worked in office. His work was office work, and then he's like, "Oh, that sounds fun. I mean, I've never done like more than my garden, and the position was gardening, like." And it's really intense because the sun, it's really hot, and it's hard work. And we hired him because he was really like, yeah, I want to do this. So I was like, okay, you're hired. He is the happiest. He just loves it. Aww. Every time he sees me passing by, he's like, I just want to thank you again. I'm so happy. I love working here. And he's the hardest worker. It's amazing. All the people, all the staff. It's like, I have so many stories, and it's amazing that the things we can create when we are willing to create with each other and be a contribution.
True story. And I know that we've been bringing people in to educate them as well, which I think is such a gift, like to creating a greater, bigger, better, greater world, you know, like bringing someone in to educate them on, you know, being a maid. It's like on how to, you know, interact with customers, etc. And I know we've brought in another chef from Italy, from our castle as well, to, you know, educate about a few things, and many different people. So
yeah, they have English lessons. Yeah.
It's really cool.
Although I remember the last time I went horse riding, and but even this story, it's like the where are the two guys from? The father,
Nicaragua.
Son? What country are they originally from? Okay. And they're two of the guys, when you go horse riding, that will go out with you. And the son is the one that's learning English. Although I was, you know, we were practicing an English lesson on the horse, and I think my Spanish may have been a bit better than his English, which is not much. So, but it's so cool to see them really sort of diving into it as well. But man, do I feel looked after when I'm on a horse with them? Like, I know that if anything was up, they've got me. They've got me. They've got my horse. They're so aware of everything. They give you your space, but they're so aware if your horse starts acting up or there's something coming across.
Yeah, they all
there. And it's like
they all take care of everyone, including each other. We have this guy because we have to have like health, something that has to do. I don't remember the English word, but it has to do with health and the work. and he works with a lot of companies. So he was there the first time, and he has to work with little groups, and they talk to each other, like get to know each other. And when he leaves the first day, he was like, I'm impressed. It's the first time I've seen like this like friendship going on with people. It's like a family. Everyone knew each other. Everyone had each other back. He was really impressed. Like, I've never seen this in any company that I've worked with before. I know.
That is so cool. I love hearing stories like that, Claudia. It's awesome. And so again, I want to thank both of you, Shon and Claudia, for being on here with me. And again, we're going to have everything we've been talking about and all the links, and you can email Shon, etc. In the notes. So please subscribe. And if you want, you can jump over to YouTube, because you'll be able to see the video of us on YouTube. And like I said, go check out lugar.com and at least follow us. Even if you can't buy a raffle ticket, even just be like, you know what, I would like to have a planet like this, and contribute energy to it as well. And if you want, buy 100 raffle tickets. That'd be fun too. So it's your choice, and we're just here to give you the choice to choose something, different. So Shon, Claudia, thank you so much for being here. Is there anything else you want to say to everyone listening here?
I think something's pinging me. I think if another way you can contribute, we're looking to raise funds for Lugar. So if you know of anyone who invests in these types of projects that you could put us in touch with, that would be super helpful as well. So that'd be the last thing.
Cool. Thank you, Shon. And Claudia, anything else you want to add?
I just want to ask you guys to allow to connect to Lugar and allow it to be the contribution it truly is. And I know Lugar is really magical, and I know that it's what the world could be, not just a tiny place in the world, all of it, if we just receive it and allow it to be and contribute to be.
Thank you for that. And thank you. You just reminded me as well. I'm just going to mention one more thing before we jump off. It's called Lugar, which in English it means the place. And we actually named it this based on the book that Gary Douglas wrote called The Place. And if you have not yet read that or listened to it on Audible, please do. It is so magical. And for me, that is the earth that I want to live on. And I would like to contribute to, by the choices I make, creating that. And when Gary first wrote that, and I remember he was reading out the book to myself and Dane, we're in a hotel room, and he hadn't finished the book, and he was reading it, and he looked up at us, and we were both sitting there crying, and he was like, is it bad? And we were like, oh my God, no, this is so great. And for me, it was the way he spoke about the relationship that you can have with the earth, the relationship that you can have with animals, the relationship that you can have with each other, all of it and more. To me, it's like, that's the earth I know. And it's like all the insanity that gets created here. What if that was all just an interesting point of view, and we really, claim, own, acknowledge our power and potency so that we can be that here on planet Earth. And that's what we're also inviting you to. So thank you, Claudia, for reminding me of that.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for coming on and listening. And please share this with every single person you know and every single person you don't know. Thank you, Shon and Claudia.
Thank
and I'll see you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please make sure to hit the follow or subscribe button on your favorite listening platform to get notified of new episodes. We read all the reviews, so if there's any topic you would like to hear about, let us know. If you'd like to know more about the tools, information, and classes mentioned in the podcast, head on over to SimoneMilasas.com and follow me on Instagram at Simone Milasas, or the podcast has its very own link on Instagram at Choice, Change, and Action. Don't forget, you can download the show notes. And lastly, have way too much fun today.